Hello, everyone, and welcome to the incredible 27th, 29th, something? The incredible 29th episode of Pokemon A to Z. And here with me, I have, coming back from an incredible series earlier this week, the absolute expert on one of the Pokemon this gen, as well as one of the creators in the VBL who really does the most to push the limits of what they can do with their content, and who we constantly see innovating and coming up with interesting ways to explore their content. Heaven, please say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Tied in a few words, it seems.
Yes.
Yes, so this episode we are looking at, as greatly demonstrated in your episode, in our game earlier this week, your expertise on Brambleghast. And don't call out my Wednesday episode for this having been recorded beforehand, but it might have been. I didn't actually realize that even in the Regulation D scene, a lot of the banned Pokemon are showing up, which is slightly annoying, but it's a good thing I did some preparation. Toxicroak, right? Yes, Toxicroak.
Yes.
I brain sometimes. I actually had a decent bit of usage of Toxicroak, so do you want to run us through Brambleghast, the man, the myth, the legend?
Brambleghast, I'm pretty sure you all know its ability Wind Rider, the whole point of Brambleghast, make it immune to a wind move, and gain one attack when he gets hit by that, and when Tailwind gets set up.
Yeah, I was actually a bit surprised that that the Tailwind only applied to Tailwind effects on your side of the field, because the way I first read it, I thought it would also come when your opponent clicks Tailwind, and that would be very scary.
Yes.
It does also have Infiltrator, which is not quite as appealing as Wind Rider, because there are so many super effective moves into Brambleghast which are wind moves, like both special flying type moves, Air/Hurricane, Icy Wind is a big one, Heat Wave is a massive one, and the Grass Ghost typing is like a pretty solid typing. It's not like the best typing ever, but it's a pretty solid typing, granting you a lot of immunities to like major conditions like Rage Powder and Fake Out, as well as Spore. Now, you've been getting quite a lot of usage out of Brambleghast this season in VPL. What are the main things that you tend to look at to like get usage out of on Brambleghast?
On my team, I have a Marco for the Tailwind with Brambleghast. So whenever I pick Brambleghast for the week, I also have to have a Marco, and most of the time I lead both of them. The thing with Brambleghast is that it's really hard, but is also really frail. So you have to be really careful when you use him. Gets demolished by a Sucker Punch, by Shard, or any moves. And he's not really that fast, he's only 90. So if the opponent has Tailwind too, he gets outspeed.
I am just trying to see. Yeah, so I think it's just Chien-Pao that you're expecting to take an get O-Code by, right?
Yeah.
With Ice Shard. Even then, needs an item
Still
or Adamant. But
he'll have a lot of damage.
It's definitely a lot of damage. Because I know the singles set does tend to use Strength Tap defensively to quite a good impact. Because when your opponent's at -1 and you're 100%, you take moves better than when you are not, when they're at full and you're not at full. What would you say are the key sort of items you tend to consider on Brambleghast?
So I like loaded dice.
Yeah.
Bullet Seed. I really love loaded dice on any mod.
Yep.
It's a really fun item. I also have a Life Orb, just to do more damage. I think you could also run a Focus Sash, but then you lose on the damage. So I think it's better to have a Life Orb or loaded dice, like I said.
Do you think the Clear Amulet may, like, what? I don't think you've used Clear Amulet on it this season. Are there circumstances where you would consider using Clear Amulet over Loaded Dice or Life Orb? Because both of them are weaker at -1 than being at neutral.
The thing is, on the draft season, I use a Clear Amulet on Azumarill or Otherman, so not a problem. But you could run a Clear Amulet.
Yeah, it definitely is something that seems like it makes good sense to me. Definitely something we should consider. Though I do kind of really love the Bullet Seed Loaded Dice set. And yeah, in terms of like this Pokemon's general moveset, it does have Shadow Sneak, which has some utility. The fact that it's slower than most Prankster / Talonflame Tailwinds means that you do tend to get the attack boost even on Shadow Sneak, but it doesn't have. I think it gets Poltergeist next regulation, which will be quite strong from it. But for now, it's got Phantom Force, which you can pair with a Power Herb. I don't think you've done that yet.
No.
And then yes, Power Whip is quite a strong move, but Bullet Seed is a more consistent move because it's 100% accurate and you're doing 100 to 125, which is, on average weaker than 120. Certainly weaker than a Life Orb 120, but still pretty solid. And then Terra Blast Ghost is very popular. This Pokemon I think saw quite a bit of tournament usage recently. It really helps that it is a good matchup into Urshifu, who is a Pokemon that kind of tends to influence a lot of what Pokemon are able to be brought in the format, and having a Pokemon that is like one of our A to Z format guys, in fact both of them having a good matchup into Urshifu, means that we're very free to do whatever we want in terms of being able to check Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Lando, Torn in the last few slots. Yeah, and I think in current format, maybe in Regulation A or B, you could probably have tried to run like a bulkier Strength Sap, Leech Seed sort of set, but I think in the current format it's a bit difficult to try and use those. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I don't really see the point of doing a bulky Brambleghast. Why would you use it to do a bulky man?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not sure.
I mean, the reason in singles is it's access to the move Rapid Spin, which removes hazards as well as spikes, where we don't really... Spikes don't tend to be as good if they're not on a Hisuian Samurott move, and even then Hisuian Samurott hasn't seemed like crazy amount of play. And yeah, they are fine. I think Toxic Spikes are probably the best, partly because they're set by ability rather than by a move, and partly because they do more than 12% damage. So yeah, I definitely think that that's fair. I think in this format, I'm very tempted to run like a Shadow Sneak Terra Blast Ghost set with Protect probably in the last slot. Mostly because Pokemon, it doesn't have any coverage except for normal, right? And it has Beam.
Yes. That's why I always run Terra Blast on Brambleghast with like Terra Rock most of the time.
Yeah, Rock is
on the art.
Is a pretty reasonable Terra, right? Because it, I mean, it doesn't really synergize necessarily well with the Wind Rider, but it's pretty, like, you aren't taking any moves super effectively that you were previously, and the damage is pretty good because very little resists the Grass Rock typing, and what doesn't resist Ghost. Though I think I trend towards Terra Ghost in this format for the extra Shadow Sneak damage.
Terra Rock also makes you resist flying and fire.
Yeah.
That you will be weak to.
In draft, maybe a little bit more relevant, because Wind Rider covers most of the prevalent flying moves except for Terra Blast in the current format, and a lot of fire types, some of them do run a combination of Heat Wave and Overheat, but a lot of them do just run Heat Wave, so more relevant in draft where they are specifically running Flamethrower or Fire Blast or Overheat to cover for Brambleghast in particular.
In draft people will...
Yeah.
In draft people will play around.
Yeah. It's cool in draft to disincentivize your opponent from running Heat Wave, which is otherwise quite a threatening move. So yes, Wind Rider and like Grass type and everything, it makes it, yeah, definitely disincentivizes the opposing team from bringing Urshifu, which is cool. And then speaking of disincentivizing the opposing team of bringing Urshifu, here's a fighting resist that's immune to water. It's kind of like Brambleghast, but a different Pokemon. but switching those types around. And Toxicroak is a very different Pokemon. It's not very strong. Classically, when it has been able to function in formats, it's generally been in formats, like very early restricted formats, where Kyogre has been very prevalent, and as a result, having Fake Out as well as like a super effective stab move into Xerneas has been pretty relevant. I remember using one back in the Sun mode of 2019 with an Assault Vest so that it could live an unboosted Xerneas and then just kind of sit there and annoy Pokemon that weren't weak to poison or fighting. It has gotten close combat since then, which is a very big buff, but still kind of in that situation where its Fake Out, Dual Stab are okay, but not amazing, and it didn't get Aura Sphere, which is a bit of a shame, because its especially defensive options are pretty decent with Nasty Plot. No Vacuum Wave either, right? Oh no, it does have Vacuum Wave, that's cool. I think that I'd probably lead towards Focus Sash over Assault Vest in this format, if only because I haven't calced what I would need to run on an Assault Vest set for it to be helpful. So I'd trend towards something like this, where you get the utility of Fake Out, you get a lot of damage out of Gunk Shot, especially into Flutter Mane. It is particularly helpful, but it also can be annoying for like an Amoonguss. Now, set is walled by Lando, so you could consider dropping Protect for Ice Punch, though I don't know. Probably should. Seeing a lot of Lando on the ladder recently. Let's see what sets people, like spread-wise, people have been running on Brambleghast, because there might be a more refined version of its spread. No, it mostly looks like they're running either defensive max defense or this offensive set with max speed.
I see only full attack, full speed.
Yeah, I see some Adamant and I see some Jolly. I think we probably do want to be Adamant for that extra damage. Do you have a preference for Prankster Tailwind user? There's only two. Is that correct? Oh yeah, Murkrow's here. There are still only two, because these two are coming next format. Or you could potentially a Talonflame if you prefer.
Arceus is way better than Murkrow, but...
Yeah, obviously you've been using a lot of Murkrow. Is Murkrow... do you like Murkrow more than Thundurus? I've used both on this channel as like those bonus slots, and I think there is a lot of like a pretty reasonable argument towards running Murkrow.
I just prefer Murkrow because Tornadus is ugly.
Because it's ugly.
Tornadus is really ugly.
Look,
all the Jennies
are...
come
here to bully Pokemon? I don't know what made you like come up here and be like, you know what, today I'm going to make a Pokemon feel bad about how it looks. But that's not necessarily the sort of vibe I'm going with. The other one was Talonflame. I'm fine with Murkrow, Talonflame, or Tornadus if you want to do Murkrow.
Talonflame, I think it's not really good.
I also don't think Murkrow's very good. But, you know, they're all fine, I think. The main value of Talonflame is that it's faster than the other pranksters, so it can't be Thunderwaved, and then you can just use the Toxicroak. I think Talonflame synergizes well with Toxicroak, in ways that I probably wouldn't run it if not for the fact that we had two Pokemon that synergize okay with it. But I am more than fine running Murkrow. Besides Tailwind, yeah. Besides Tailwind, is there much that is specifically or particularly appealing to you?
Let's check.
Like, I know this often is used because it has access to Haze. I don't think we want to use Haze.
Oh.
Okay, apparently this is the this is what the chief says.
Yeah.
I
think Tornadus is better.
yeah, but I don't have a problem using Murkrow, it's fine.
I think you can run Taunt on the Murkrow.
Yeah, probably Taunt and Thunderwave. Or are you more of a Quash sort of fan?
Nope, not Quash.
Thunderwave then.
Yes.
Or Protect as well is also fine, but I think it's Thunderwave. Protect is probably more if you're trying to run Perish Song, which we don't currently have on the set. So we could run this Brambleghast, sorry, to be faster than Brambleghast, because then it would get +1 attack on Shadow Sneak if we Tailwind on that same turn. Could also run like an offensive Covert Cloak version, but I assume that we're just going with this version.
I prefer Heavy Effect.
Terra Ghost. I might just Terra Ice this, just for the Ice Punch damage, because I don't know what other Terra to run. It's probably also Terra Ghost, but that's not fun. Sorry. You prefer bulky or fast?
I think I prefer bulky.
Okay. Now, what we kind of want to slap on the team next to this is probably a good special attacker, right?
Yes.
So, Brambleghast, obviously it struggles with physically defensive Pokemon. It's not amazing into some of the normal types in the format. I think maybe Dragonite is a bit of an issue, because like whether it's Terrad or not, it can be quite annoying, as well as Chien-Pao is definitely frustration. So do we then want to try and go with a special attacker who is super effective into Chien-Pao and ideally at least neutral to one of the stabs and resist the other?
Chien-Pao and Dragonite you want to be good against.
I think we're okay into Dragonite. I'd like to feel better into Chien-Pao.
Chien-Pao.
At this current point, I feel like I am mostly concerned about Fluttermane and Chien-Pao and Lando T, but not that much. Just somewhat.
I'm not really following VGC currently, but wouldn't Heatran be good?
Yeah, Heatran's
against
fine. Heatran is definitely not a bad pick in basically any format, because it is very good as a Pokemon.
Like one of the Lemon I played this format.
It didn't have a crazy strong performance at Worlds, but I think that's because a lot of people were making preparations for Heatran. So since this is a Tailwind version of the team, do we maybe want to throw a Life Orb on the Heatran?
I like Life Orb Heatran.
Cool. I kind of hate always a bit not. I think I may go. Nah, it's fair. And then just kind of running like a faster version. Definitely want Modest. Wow, there's a million different spreads for Heatran. So 140 is apparently a recommended speed, so I'll go with that. And then I'll just kind of pop this in and pretend this is fine. That'll be better so that we don't die to Life Orb in 9 hits. Now, we want... Well, I guess this is already a Fluttermane check. Actually, if this is the Fluttermane check and we want a Terra Brambleghast, we should run Flash Cannon. So, beyond this, we probably want something to check Trick Room. So that means either like Imprison or Phasing or something that we feel like can Oko Cresselia, which is...
Not much.
It's like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a viable option. We do have Taunt, which is okay. So maybe we will want like a strong Pokemon that has Phasing. So like a Roar or a Whirlwind. Arcanine H isn't a bad idea. Heatran does kind of present us a pretty good defensive spread into a lot of Pokemon. Could be a Dragonite of our own.
You want to run a Whirlwind on Dragonite?
I do not mind a good bit of Whirlwind on Dragonite. I'm just seeing if anything else seems super appealing, and honestly, not a whole lot does. I think like having like a maybe a Citrus Berry one.
I think Fairy Giraffe can be good because it also protects from a priority.
Yeah, I just may be a bit concerned that Farigiraf is a bit bulky for this like Tailwind oriented team. that like it's not doing enough damage, but it's possible we can try and make it do that sort of damage. Maybe run like a throat spray version of the set.
I think it's really nice to have a protection from Sucker Punch when you have Brambleghast.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Just like Psychic, Hyper Voice, and then Trick Room and Imprison. Probably with Terra.
I think Fairy Giraffe has a Roar if you want to just do a one slot.
What's right? Oh yeah, Roar. Does it? It may do. I think Trick Room and Imprison is probably better because Trick Room lets us beat opposing Tailwind teams.
It doesn't have a Roar. Just when I tapped Roar, it showed because of the DLC, but
it doesn't have it yet.
VGC.
I still think I'm fine with Trick Room and Imprison. I think Fairy Giraffe is probably like the only Pokemon that I feel okay running Trick Room and Imprison on.
Yes.
Probably not for great reasons, but you know. And then with this, is there anything else that is enticing to you?
Pokemon-wise?
What was that, sorry?
You mean another Pokemon?
Yes.
What's the main trait in UHD? It's like Fluttermane, Archifu, Iron Hands.
I don't feel crazy weak to any particular Pokemon at this point, so I feel like it's pretty open. I guess Chi-Yu would be an issue, but it's difficult to come up with a team concept where Chi-Yu is not an issue. So we could put something on the team that is like relatively tanky that we feel okay slapping an Assault Vest on. We could just put on something that we feel comfortable throwing. Like, I mean, we could run our own Chi-Yu. I don't know if that makes super sense because we're trying to highlight 2 physical attackers. But you know, just something that is immediately strong with a boosting ability would be cool.
Boosting ability.
Yeah. Is it time for your other Pokemon?
What did you say?
Is it time for your other Pokemon?
On Night Draft Team?
Yes. The one with the boosting ability.
The boosting ability? Azumarill?
No, the other
Regidrago?
Is it time for Regidrago?
If you want.
I mean, I'm fine running Regidrago. Is it a great play? Probably not. Is it fun? Yes.
Yes.
So Regidrago running. I think I might go for a Choice Scarf on this set, if that's fine.
Yes.
Because this just gives us an alternative lead to Murkrow that we don't feel too bad about, especially as something next to Toxicroak. So Terra Dragon, Dragon Energy, the Dragon Pulse, Draco, and Earth Power, I guess. Because I don't think he gets a Steel or Poison move in format.
No, you have to Terra for a Steel move.
Yeah, but we want Terra to click the Dragon move, so we probably won't be doing that. I mean, we could drop Dragon Pulse and go Terra Steel, most likely. If you would prefer that.
Well, I don't really care.
Okay. Then we'll go with this. Regulation D. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This is not a great Regidrago matchup, so it's probably a good thing that Toxicroak and Brambleghast are our focus Pokemon. This seems like a pretty good Murkrow Brambleghast lead, right?
Yes, unless he has Super Azumarill, but...
You know, I feel like we might do okay with the Terra Blast anyways.
Yes.
And then follow up with Toxicroak and Heatran.
Okay.
Okay, special attack boosting. That is what we do like to see. So I want to Tailwind and Ghost Terra Blast the Fluttermane. Is that fine with you?
Yes.
I kind of wish I went for Bullet Seed now. I think it may still die. It does still
Yes.
die.
Because we are.
Okay, so we're no longer the fastest Pokemon on the field.
Mm.
But I don't think we died to one hit from them. So I kind of want to Thunder Wave the Arcanine, and yep.
I think Arcanine can one-shot you. If he's Intimidate, so maybe not his Smash, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that they are... thing, but it seems like they definitely still can.
Yes.
Okay. So we can Thunder Wave and Terra Blast the Arcanine, or we could Thunder Wave the Arcanine and attack the Zapdos. What do you prefer?
I'm not sure what he's going to do. Maybe I will protect to see what...
Protect the Brambleghast and Thunder Wave the Arcanine?
Yes.
I kind of expect him to Rock Slide, to be honest. I feel like people often click Rock Slide in places which confuse me. Hurricane, interesting. Wisp, interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of want to Terra Blast and Foul Play the Arcanine now.
You can.
That does a lot of damage.
Yes.
That also does a lot of damage. Not lethal, though. Is that recoil enough? I don't think so. No, it's not. So I kind of want to go Toxicroak, or do I want to go Heatran? They both kind of suck. I think it's Toxicroak, and then switch Murkrow into Heatran and fake out the Arcanine, because I think that should KO. Actually, I can just I can just Ice Punch the Arcanine, right? Yeah, it's definitely doing 12. So I'm going to Ice Punch the Arcanine and switch Heatran in, because I want to try and get Tailwind back up. Alright, we'll see who the last Pokemon is on their end. It's a Zumro. That's pretty good for us, right?
We have good shots, yes.
So we Gunk and we Heat Wave. Or do we Protect?
Does Gunk one-shot Azumarill, yes?
I'd be kind of surprised if it didn't. Yeah, it seems like it should. It seems like it should OHKO a bulky version, a max HP one at least.
I think you could, then you could not Heat Wave, yes.
So was that Protect?
You can Heat Wave then if you one-shot Azumarill.
Okay, I was kind of concerned that Heat Wave, that they might just kill us with
The Quidget doesn't kill.
If it is item boosting, it will.
Okay, then you protect.
Yeah. And there's no way we would miss the 90% accurate move, right? Wow,
No.
they were still slower. We got the poison, it's fine. Wow, they didn't even put us to Sash. So I'm just gonna Ice Punch. I don't want to miss if they don't hit us. And Heat Wave. That does a lot of damage. Nothing this Pokemon does is super relevant, so I think it's just Foul Play and Heat Wave. So there we go. That's one game down. Brambleghast and Toxicroak both put in some good work there. It seemed like they had some defense investment on that Azumarill based on that.
Yes.
Because they took that quite well. So probably should have gone for Heat Wave, I don't know. They went for the attack into there. So for this game, this is the team that is scary. Is this a Trick Room version of the composition where we like lead Toxicroak and Forager off with like Brambleghast and Regidrago in the back, or maybe Heatran? Scarf, I forgot this is Scarf. Do we lead Regidrago next to maybe Fairy? Maybe Toxicroak?
Why not?
Regidrago, I'm going to go Toxicroak for the lead next to it. And then I'm going to follow up with definitely Brambleghast, and I think definitely Heatran.
On the Tailwind.
Okay, so I'm concerned I may have to Draco the Chiyu.
Chiyu?
It looks like Dragon Energy does pretty good damage. I think that I'm just going for Dragon Energy and a Fake Out into Chiyu. Because I kind of expect this Taunt to be the ability. Covert Cloak. Okay! Guess I... Oh, they didn't click the priority move. Okay. Snarl. Okay. This Regidrago is not going to be doing as much damage. They're quite bulky. I wonder if they're a Soul Fist. Maybe I should have Terra Dragoned, because it looks like that would have KO'd. Either way, I click Dragon Energy.
Ice Punch.
Do I Ice Punch? Or do I switch in Brambleghast? No, I can't switch in Brambleghast. This does not feel like a great position to be in. Oh, there's Scarf.
Critical hit 20%, wow.
Oh! We are faster than their, Okay, that's interesting. Do we think Brambleghast KOs? Lando?
The sneak, it should KO Shiu, I think.
It looks like it is at best a roll. Terra Ice. We have Terra Grass on that guy in the back. So I think I definitely Shadow Sneak. And I just go for the Ice Punch then, right?
Yes.
That's not great. I thought this was the other one. Okay, so we bring out Heatran. This is not good. I think we just need to actually be faster than the Urshifu. We need to Terra Shadow Sneak, and they need to sucker into the Brambleghast slot. So Terra Shadow Sneak will KO. They need to sucker into the Brambleghast slot while we get the Flash Cannon off. Okay, that's a start. Going for Wicked Blow. I think that could be same diff. That is not same diff. It did not die. Man, that was a bit sad.
Maybe he has not
Heat Wave?
Maybe he has no fighting move.
Maybe he's banded? He's banded, it didn't matter, we died.
Oh no, Heatran is so slow.
Well, it was pretty close. That is banded. It was a lot of damage. Yeah, I guess maybe the sneak was a bad play. I don't know. Maybe I should have gone for the Terra Sneak into Lando the previous turn. Or the Terra Dragon would have just won. But, you know, sometimes you make mistakes. That's fine. 1-1 doesn't feel too bad heading into Game 3. What the hell is this team? So, I know it didn't work out last time, but Toxicroak, Regidrago.
You know.
I think this might actually be a Toxicroak, Regidrago, Heatran, Brambleghast team.
Okay.
I feel like Dragon Energy is probably pretty good into Urshifu. It does look like it is. So I want to fake out the Urshifu, or do we just bet on the Urshifu being the annoying thing? So do we want to fake out Taunt, expecting it not to be Covert Cloak, or fake out Urshifu, expecting Taunt to be Covert Cloak?
I think Tornadus is more likely to have Covert Cloak.
Okay.
Okay.
It was Sash. Fake out would have been pretty alright. That said, they could have been clicking Aqua Jet. I wouldn't have done anything, but they could have been clicking it. Something that's definitely annoying is not having like Bullet Punch or something to pick off this Taunt. Because, yeah, we're definitely expecting a Bleak Wind to come out. We know that the Qianpao is not Sash. Do we close combat the Qianpao and Dragon Energy here?
Yes. He can't watch a Toxicroak. If he also eat Regidrago.
Toxicroak is Sash. We don't expect Regidrago to get one hit KO'd. So I need to just not die, right?
You shouldn't die if you're Sash.
It's like... I need to just not die through Sash, okay? That's all I'm asking. So if we go Brambleghast now, we should be okay, right?
We should.
We still have Heatran in the back. So I'm going to go for Gunk into Fluttermane and Shadow Sneak the Taunt. I kind of expect Taunt to protect because Sash is more likely to carry Protect, but I don't. Okay, it didn't click Protect. They gave us an attack boost.
Oh, but thank you. Thank you.
Danke schön. Merci. There you go. Brambleghast is pretty good. Toxicroak is okay. It's a Sash Pokemon that has an okay attack stat and Fake Out, so it's not going to be terrible.
Yeah, both are nice Pokemon.
Where did we put Brambleghast on this tier list? Brambleghast is an 8. Brambleghast is a very good Pokemon for 8 points.
Yes.
I think it is probably like here sort of quality Pokemon. I think there are definitely worse Pokemon in 10 and 11 than Brambleghast. And then Toxicroak, I have no idea what Toxicroak will be. Oh, 9. Brambleghast is definitely a better Pokemon than Toxicroak. Also, Toxicroak is, I think, just worse than Sneasels and several other Pokemon in this format, in this list. I think Toxicroak could probably go down. Just, Rain is not relevant. And most matchups, Toxicroak's stab are not good enough. And like we even saw it hitting that Azumarill, and then the Azumarill lived. I collected 120 base power, not fully accurate move. It's pretty rough. I should have gone for Draco.
Still nice with Fake Out and Water Immunity.
It is. Always nice having a random immunity. I just feel like Dry Skin is just okay. It's not a bad Pokemon. It's just not a Pokemon that I think justifies its pricing. I think there are a lot of Pokemon in 8 that I prefer, and a lot of Pokemon in 9 that I prefer.
Can I agree?
Yeah. So, would you ever consider drafting Toxicroak? Obviously, you've been using Brambleghast a lot.
I will say the same thing that Thundurus. Toxicroak is too ugly for me to draft it.
I need to look at your team, because I feel like your standards of ugly and attractive are like kind of weird.
The only ugly mon I have on my team is Gothitelle, but I needed it for...
Sorry, Gothitelle's an ugly Pokemon?
For me.
Can you explain the difference between Gothitelle and Mismagius, which makes Gothitelle ugly, but Mismagius not ugly?
Mismagius is one of my favorite mon. He looks so cool.
But what is the difference that makes them... Sorry, Scovillain is not an ugly Pokemon?
Scovillain is not really it's the same thing that Gothitelle is only here for Moody and Ashwater, for Muck.
Right, which is why you didn't bring Muck in the game where you brought Scovillain.
I wanted to bring Scovillain, but Muck, but it wasn't really good in the Muck I did. Okay.
Personally, I don't know if there are many Pokemon that I think are straight up just ugly. I don't think any of my Pokemon are ugly, actually. Let me double check my team before I commit to that, but I know if I look at my team. I mean, Iron Treads is kind of goofy, but I don't think it's ugly.
I think your team is...
Decidueye Hissway is a bit over-designed. Everything else, I don't think any of these Pokemon are ugly. Yes. Obviously, Slazzle is like a straight woman, which is a bit weird. I don't know why they came up with those. But, you know, outside of having a straight Pokemon, the rest of them are fine.
You had the Enamorus at the beginning.
Enamorus is definitely not the brightest, the best looker.
Yeah.
But
it was really
the important thing is the girly slays, you know. Yeah, I don't love Decidueye Hissway's design. I feel like it's just a bit too much for me, but I think everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, I like this.
It's funny contrasting these two. This Pokemon has so much design for just like a random Pokemon, and this Pokemon does not have a lot of design for equally just random Pokemon. Or even this is a starter, which often means that their designs are less complex. I feel like if it was less like feathery, and it was more implied featheriness rather than straight explicit featheriness, or maybe if they want the white patches on the jacket, I feel like it would maybe work a little bit better. But it seems just a bit much to me. It's cool, but it definitely stands out compared to a lot of other Pokemon, and not in a necessarily positive way. I guess Mimikyu is supposedly quite ugly under the disguise. I just Don't know about that. What about this team of 6? Do you think Heatran is an ugly Pokemon? Farigiraffe?
I don't think you have any ugly mon beside the Toxicroak. And even Toxicroak is not really so bad. He's
Okay.
just not.
I think most people would probably say that Regidrago is the ugliest Pokemon in these 6.
My name, my team name is Regilab, so I love all Regis.
Okay.
Registeel is my favorite mon, so.
I mean, I feel like yeah, if there's a Reggie that is ugly, it's definitely Regidrago.
Definitely the weirdest looking.
That is definitely true. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Go check out Heaven's channel, link below. I know many of you already would have from the battle thing earlier this week, but definitely worth a check out. As I said, constantly pushing the envelope as to what content you can do in the draft sphere, and we are incredibly excited for your return, which is looking to be in like a week or two, right?
For my videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will try.
And with those promises, I bid you all goodbye.
Goodbye.